All right, let's get Bonnie back on here. Hey, Bonnie, good morning.
Hi, Bert. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Great.
Now, Bonnie, the last time we had you on, I was out that day. So can you kind of give us the quick version of what happened in that relationship, how long ago it was, and sort of the symptoms now of you not being able to get this guy off your mind or out of your life?
Well, it was 3 years ago that we broke up. We were together about 3 years, and he started lying, and I caught him on the phone with a female. He was cheating, and I kicked him out. And I really haven't dated since. So I had a picture still on the wall of my birthday party with him and I on it. And Jeff told me I had to take that down that night, and I did.
Good job.
Yes.
Can you move it into the bedroom?
Yes.
It's on the ceiling now, over her bed. Now, were you still kind of hooked on this guy, or you had thoughts of him just because you said you haven't matched up well with anybody else the last 3 years, or was it something about this guy that you really, really, really miss?
Well, I thought that it was him. I really did. I thought that I was never going to find anybody that made me feel like he made me feel that I loved him. But after Sean, I have a different look on it.
All right,
Really?
so let's talk about Sean here.
Oh.
So Sean, the Heartbreak Hypnotist. Explain exactly what you do when people come to you and they're like, I just can't get a dude out of my head.
I want to talk to them. I want to find out what actually happened. I don't just take their statement as fact. Like if they tell me I'm hung up on this guy, I'll ask her, how do you know that? You know, and the more I'm getting closer to the truth, the more I find out that she's not really hung up on this guy. The issue is that she has strong feelings from the initial part of the relationship when things were good, love feelings. So when she thinks about those memories, she feels like she misses him. But when she thinks about the stuff that went wrong, she doesn't miss him anymore. So there's this conflict that goes on. So my job is to help her to subconsciously understand what she logically knows, which is this guy was wrong for her.
So when you hypnotize her, do you bring her back to the bad places in the relationship?
No, not at all. No.
Here's what I want you to remember.
What I do is I find, the thing is that people are, when they get burned like that, they get scared, and I cure a lot of phobias. This is kind of like that. It's like she got burned by this one guy, and as a result of that, she overgeneralized, meaning she applied her hurt or that pain to all men, which means that all men are to be feared. Any serious relationship is to be feared because she could get hurt like that again. So what I had to remind her of was the fact that, look, it's possible that you can get hurt in a relationship. Everybody can get hurt. There are no guarantees. But if you prevent that from happening, you also can't have love. And once people look at it in the right way and they feel comfortable with themselves and confident with themselves, then they can take that risk and feel comfortable doing so.
So what separates you from a therapist then? Are you doing this while she's under hypnosis?
Well, I also say, the word therapist is right in the title. I'm a hypnotherapist, so I am. I talk to people and I help them to understand the nature of their problems a little bit. So what I do is I gather all this information, and then when I hypnotize her, my job is to creatively present that information to her in a way that resonates. And that's what I'm good at doing. If I find out what's really going on and I give her a suggestion that's in accordance with that, then she can find when she emerges from it, she doesn't have the conflict she used to have, and therefore things are cleared up.
So when you heard Bonnie's, situation, were you like, this is when I can definitely make her realize and make her come to terms with what she's afraid of and what she can overcome? Did you feel like this was something that you could definitely accomplish with Bonnie?
Not to sound arrogant, but I kind of feel that way about any story that someone gives me, because all of these things have to do with simply the way a person thinks, whether it's about a situation, a memory, or about themselves. And with hypnosis, you can help people change how they think about stuff. It's really cool. So I've never really run into something where I feel like, I can't help somebody with a relationship issue. There are things that are physical that I can't help people with, but when it comes to their thoughts, almost anything, if they're open-minded, can be changed.
I find myself trying to not look you in the eyes.
Why is that?
Why?
Because I feel like if I look him in the eyes, I'll be under his power.
I'm very persuasive, but if I was that persuasive, I'd be a lot more wealthy than I am.
So I'm curious with Bonnie specifically, in her specific situation, what were some of the things that you were suggesting to her, and what were some of the specific things that resonated with her that she can take along with her every day?
Well, I think it would be important to ask Bonnie, number one, about specifically what resonated with her, because she'll remember it, I think, from the session. But from what I can recall, a lot of it is the self-esteem building. It's reminding her that she is worthy of having someone who's good for her, and she's worthy of taking the chances. She's worthy of going out there and finding someone else, because when someone treats you badly or cheats on you or hurts you, a lot of times people look at themselves and they go, why did they do that to me? What's wrong with me? The thing is, there's nothing wrong with her. It's the guy that's got the problem, And then they start going after the same type of guy repeatedly because they think that's the best that they can get. So what I help them to do is to convince them that they can do better, then they can find someone who won't treat them like garbage, and then they can be happy.
Hey, Bonnie, let's get your take from your side on this whole thing. So you walk into his office, and what happens? And do you have like an epiphany during your session with him, or how does it work?
Well, when I walked in, I was extremely nervous. But he had it really nice, candles, it was quiet, and he just made me comfortable. We talked. We talked for, I don't know how long, a long time, and we even talked about my past and my life at home. And he made me so comfortable that I could tell him just everything, and I did. And that's when we started realizing that I wasn't hung up on this guy at all, that I thought I was, but I wasn't. And when we did the hypnosis, it was more of me relaxing and listening and thinking, and it worked. I felt 100 pounds lighter when I left, happier, more flirtatious, and I'm going to continue listening. I'm going to continue doing this for 6 months like he suggested, and I already feel better, so I know the end's going to be worth it.
Do you supply her with triggers like when she's starting to feel anxiety about this guy? Is there like a trigger that you gave her to make her start feeling positive thoughts again?
I didn't specifically do a trigger with her during that session. If I had a client like this, normally I'd recommend we do a few sessions together just to make sure that we can do more of those things. I only had a chance to see Bonnie once before the show today. But I can do things like that. You can make connections take place just like, when someone smokes, they see something that reminds them of a cigarette. Well, you can do that with someone when it comes to an ex. When they think about that person, they can remember how comfortable, how confident they are, what their qualities, what their talents are. So, yeah, you can do anything like that. So the more feedback I get from the person, the more specific stuff like that I can do.
So it's worked for you thus far, Bonnie. So are you guys planning on seeing each other again?
Oh, we haven't made any specific session, another session lined up yet, but I would recommend that for a client who wanted to get some help, to solve the issue permanently, that you do it more than once.
You good with that, Bonnie?
Yes, I would love to do it again.
And what Bonnie was referring to is she's got a recorded session of the hypnotherapy, so she can listen to it again over and over again and have those same messages reminded to her.
I do that for every client. So whatever we did in the session, if it clicked with her, every time she listens to it, she can rehab that. So it can be fresh, it can be reinforced and strengthened every day that she listens.
Cool. And you can do this with anybody that has been in a relationship and just can't get past it.
I can do it with anybody who has any kind of an issue with a relationship with themselves, with anything. I think I've got another listener of yours from last week set up for this week, and I'm looking forward to this. Is the one I think the other one who was having the issue with living with the guy that she had already been broken up with for a year, and he's dating somebody else.
They're still living together.
And
they're still living together.
Oh, that's
so
right.
she's
And
bringing another woman over to the house that they're living in?
He is. Yeah.
Yes.
She needs out. She needs out.
She can't get over it.
Forgot about that one.
And financially, she could take off, but she just doesn't want to. She wants to be close to this guy.
I think she's in a bad situation where she feels stuck financially, but gosh, I think a lot of people would just get out of that anyway, regardless. So I'm going to help her to make that move.
Okay, cool. If you want to get involved with Sean Wheeler, our Heartbreak Hypnotist, all the information is up online right now at thebertshow.com. Thanks, man.
All right, thank you, guys.
Looking forward to having you in again.
All right, I look forward to being here.